Hello and welcome to TCS Consulting. This is Leader and Organizational Development. This is the platform we talk about leadership impact, organizational development, performance, and effectiveness. How are they showing up strong in the market and in their industry? Speaking specifically to the human of the leader. If you understand what I mean by that, is the humanity side of the individual that is holding that position of leadership. We talk about the characteristics a lot about leadership, but here on TCS and Own It, we want to talk to the emotional, intellectual side, the nurturing side, the human side. And so this month, we always have a theme, and this month is the month of May. Yay! We've entered the month of May, and we're going to be focusing on motherhood, women, impact, influence, and results. And taking center stage and owning it with me this morning on this show today is Dr. Stephanie Reed. She is the creator of the Unclocking Movement, Mind, Body, and Spirit. And we're going to talk about what it takes to manage and maintain a healthy and thriving, not striving, but thriving by mind, body, and spirit as it pertains to being a mom and showing up in your life, your career, and your business. And Dr. Stephanie is here. Dr. Stephanie Reed is here to speak to us in regards to her unclocking your unclocking movement, and she is phenomenal. You don't want to miss this interview, so stay tuned because you have a lot of nuggets that are going to drop here, words of wisdom and expertise that are going to show you how to navigate through this thing called life as you lead and influence and impact and bring results in whatever it is that you set out to do. So, taking center stage and owning it is Dr. Stephanie Reed. Oh, thank you so much. She
You're
is our
welcome.
Own It May cover girl, and she is going to share with us some of the secrets to her success in her practice and all that she does to help women to not strive but thrive and live a fulfilling life as they set out to do be ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And so Dr. Stephanie, welcome, 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 welcome. Say hello to the people, introduce yourself, get home, get a little cozy and
Hello,
comfortable.
Cozy. Hello. I am Dr. Stephanie Reed, and it's just kind of awesome to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. The connection that we are building is phenomenal, and I feel the energy that we could just boom, like have it ripple through, the consciousness of women that we connect with. So this is major stuff.
Yes,
So yeah, it's major. Yeah, I'm feeling the the fire that's coming under women. I've been working with women for 19 years as a doctor of naturopathy. And one of the things that I've noticed is that women get to our age group, like 40 and over, let's just say 50 and over, life doesn't seem to be as confident as we would expect it to be because we think we know more, we think we've done more. I'm finding that women in this age bracket are very insecure about who they are, but they hide it well, right? Very unstable in their sense of self because their identity is shifting, right? We're going from being mothers to grandmothers, and we silently want to do something different, right? Like, I want to, but and I hear this all the time, and I'm like, girl, you grown, go do you. And they go, but there's always a but. So I feel that this energy that women are sharing is sharing with me is something that is almost palpable. And I think with the women that you touch, the women that I touch, the energy and the insight that we have to share, I think we have something that we can shake up the momentum of what's happening. And that's why I call this the unclocking movement. It's a movement. It's not just something that we're going to do and, oh, that was cute. No, this is something that needs to be locked in for women to tap into and to ride this wave until they get to their most fulfilled best selves. Yeah, so I'm excited. Can you tell? Can you
Yes,
tell
I
me?
am. Yes, I am. And so I want to talk about. So yesterday, you and I, we met and we talked, and I love my little sidebar behind the scene conversations because that's where a lot of juices is, really cultivated and stirred up. And so we talked about coming out of, like, we just got finished doing the Own It conference here in the Dominican Republic. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people shared in our little group chat and WhatsApp about their travel journey and everything like that. And you and I talked about how you have to unclock. You have to step away from, because now you have to deal with and process everything that has happened, right? Then you have to also process all the traveling and all that taxing on the body, mind, and spirit. And so talk about, we shared about how we have to get that rest and rejuvenation. And then we also have to take like ownership of our independence and our responsibilities. So share a little bit about why it's so important. I'm going to back up because I can go in. I want to talk about first why it's important for us to attend such retreats. And then I want to go, I want to talk in and dive into what happens before one of these retreats and what should be happening afterwards. So we're going to kind of do the full cycle. Why is it important, based on what you said about the unclocking? Why is it important for women to invest in going away and getting fed, and then and what's the going away and getting fed? Let's address that first, because there's a full cycle to this, as to what happens to the psyche, and what triggers us to make the decisions that we make to self-sabotage and not get the rejuvenation that we need.
Yeah. Yeah, let's kind of tap into the need first. The reason why there is a need to get away is because you don't know what you don't know. There is a system in place, a structure in place in your life that you've been doing your whole life, and you think is right. And you're not willing to admit that what you know up until this point is not giving you the results that you believe that you need to move forward. And until you step out of your bubble to get another perspective, you're not going to see what you don't know that you don't know. And you don't even have the platform to ask the appropriate questions because you don't even know that there's something wrong. So
Right.
if you really want to be a woman on the move, you want to be unstoppable, you have to get out of your own way. And the easiest, fastest way to do that is to get out of your comfort zone. Once you get out of your comfort zone, then you have to say to yourself, what was my intention for getting out of my comfort zone? What do I need to get out of this new experience? And
Right.
be willing to stand in that. Regardless of what's going on around you, stand in that truth. But I tell you, a lot of times when women go away, especially to a conference, they don't necessarily set an intention first. When I go to this conference, I'm going to write down and take all my notes. I'm going to be able to bring this information back. I'm going to implement the steps and become action oriented when I come back, and I'm going to be a new person. If we haven't set that standard before we got there, when we step on the platform of this new environment, we're bringing our old selves. And our
Mhm.
old selves is triggered by frivolous things. Our old self is disempowered because we don't see the bigger picture. And then by time you actually start to see that there was something else that I was supposed to get, it's over. Then you're mad that it's over because you didn't take the time to connect with what was being given to you. And you have two choices. You can either reflect on the plane of how you did not show up so you can do better the next time, or you can just be bitchy about it and complain about where you were and what you didn't receive.
Right. Right.
Right? But
Right.
it's important to get away, because if you don't have, and you know what, even in your silent self, in your self-reflection, you might not tell anybody, but you'll go, you know what? If I would have just done X, Y, and Z, I would have been able to hear what that lady was saying, because I thought she said something powerful and now I missed it. If you're honest with yourself, you're going to say when you miss the mark.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And last month we talked about the SWOT analysis. And the SWOT analysis is being strategic and intentional, right? So if you really did the SWOT analysis and you went over your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats. And again, I say this, yeah, words are powerful, and I do agree. But I see the bigger thing. You can't get caught up in how something was said, or you have got to get the content of the message. When you get to a certain place and where you're going in life, it's no longer the little, like you said, frivolous little things. You are looking at the biggest picture. You're not worried about your seat being perfect. You're not worried about your coffee being hot. You're not worried about the little mundane things. You are getting what we talk about with Mary being at the feet of Jesus. You're getting the needful thing. And that's what you have to be. You can't be Martha, busy about many things. You have to be Mary when you're trying to level up with your business. If you're trying to level up and take things to the next level, you can't do that. We're talking about this month, women of influence, impact, and what? Results. You want results? You're going to have to stop worrying about the little things and see the bigger picture. The mindset when you get ready to go is, what is it? If you are the CEO of your life and you are now making executive decisions, you have now have to go there with a list of, what are my needs? What do I need to get from this? And get what you came for. You have got to know what it is that you need to get, because the more you know what you need, the more the instructor knows what to give. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right. You're right. And it completely feeds off of energy. One of the things that I do with my clients is I do an onboarding survey, right? Because we as coaches and as thought leaders, we create content for what we know is needed based on our expertise. But I always leave room for feedback and input. And I say, do this onboarding questionnaire. Tell me who you are, what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, what do you need, how do you absorb information? So as a thought leader and a coach, we can deliver what you say you need, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of women don't know who they are and what they need. So if you don't know, if you haven't set the time to disconnect yourself from your limiting beliefs and your self-sacrificing and your yes when you really want to say no, and if you're not afraid to take the S off your chest, then you can explore who you are. When you go to these conferences, that's the time to just observe and do that.
Observe and absorb.
And absorb. There you go.
Observe and absorb. And you know what? Identity is at the lower level. So if you don't know who you are, you're operating at a very low level. You're wondering why, and to not know who you are and your identity and be operating at a lower level does not mean that you don't have a lower level title. You can be operating at a lower level and be a senior executive, but you are a senior executive based on how you're showing up on the job, but that's not how you're showing up as you, the person. And you, the person, is identity. It's who are you? Like when we started off this journey with the Own It anthology, we started off the journey learning about public speaking. And one of the biggest things that it was teaching you about public speaking was knowing who you are, what you're about, and where you got that from. And so I'm going to divert back to you, Dr. Reed, in regards to how important is identity at this low level in connection with your movement of unclocking?
Identity is probably the most significant, groundbreaking work that you can do. And in order for me to establish with my clients their identity, I take them through a journey of understanding the 4 phases of a woman's life. And within the definition of those 4 phases, they get to identify where they are and where they need to be. And I often find that just because you're a chronological age, just because you have a title, does not mean you're walking in the authentic shoes of that age, which one can assume that there's a level of maturity, one of personal and environmental awareness, one of emotional intelligence. We can't assume that all of those things are in place. We want to assume that, but that's not necessarily the case. So you will have women in different echelons of their career, and they're emotionally and spiritually bound to a phase in life that's disempowering, and you can't fake that. So you'll have the title, but you'll still be ineffective. Right? You'll have the position, but you won't have the respect. Right? When you're in the crone phase or the guardian phase, that garners respect when you walk in the room, and you don't even have to have a title. But if you have a title and you're still walking in the maiden and the mother phase, nobody respects you. You're a joke.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to marry the identity with the reality. And if they don't match, we need to have some new learning to put it in place. Because again, I started by saying, you don't know what you don't know. So if you're ineffective in your position, your title, how you show up, is because you're out of phase in your phases of womanhood. And when you align the two, you are unstoppable. I used a quote from Ed Smith yesterday, and he said, when you know that you know that you know, you are un-F-withable. And I'm like, I like that.
I like that. I do too. I got to get the pronunciation, but I love it.
Right?
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so this is just not a movement. This is one of the programs that you offer under your services as a coach, as a practitioner. So the unclocking movement is a program. So if you're listening, and understand the dynamics between Dr. Reed and I. Dr. Reed and I has her specialization and I have my specialization. And together we can help you go to the next level. Yep. She has her approach. She's doing that grassroots therapeutic, and I'm coming in as coach in business. I'm telling you how to level up your business, your products, your services, how to go out there and make the money. That's my job. That's why I do the SWOT analysis myself to say, who do I need to bring and partner with who have expertise that are outside of my scope and my gifting. So I can't do it all, and I don't want to do it all. I want to partner with my sisters, my brothers as well, and I want to make sure that we are able to help you in a holistic way. So Dr. Reed's program, Unclocking Movement, please get in touch with her directly. You see her, she's posted, I just tagged her. Get connected with her directly and check out her program. She has online courses, right? Dr. Reed, you have online courses available
and books.
So talk to them about your product.
So you glitched a little bit and I didn't hear your last sentence. Talk to them about
your products and services, your programs, your online courses and things like that. She has a wide range of services that you can benefit tremendously for, because you want to show up unleashed and unlimited and living your life, a fulfilling and happy life. Because when you don't know who you are and you're unsatisfied, you're showing up bitter, indifferent, and frustrated. And we don't want to see you like that. We want to see smiles, laughs, and wonderful things happening in your spirit. And so without further ado, Dr. Reed, if you would share with them.
The way you just laid that all out was so very clear. It's difficult for me to jump on it without saying that in order for you to be the best woman that you need to be, desire to be, you have to have clarity, right? We have to jump back into who you are, that foundational aspect, right? So if you're not clear about who you are, everything that you do is going to be met with collateral damage and damage control, right? Hurt people, and then you're going to always be in cleanup mode. So as a doctor of naturopathy, I've been working with women For this May will actually be 19 years. I can't even believe I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And I remember my grand opening with the balloons and my mom was there. It was amazing. And I'm thinking that happened 19 years ago, but I digress. The reason why I do what I do is because over that span of time, I've seen the gamut of women's issues. And so as a naturopath, of course, I do the homeopathics, the botanicals, what people know as herbs. I do hair tissue analysis for biochemical readings. I do cytoscans. I do a lot of stuff, but that's the ancillary aspect of what's necessary for true wellness. True wellness is a spirit, mind, and body interconnected experience. And if you don't address what you're thinking and how you're feeling, your body's never going to be well. So I diverted my energy to just wanting to give you something into a coaching program, because that's the true healing aspect of how health is taken care of. Well, if you fix your spirit and your mind, and I did that specifically because your spirit, your soul is your thinking, your spirit is in your heart. If you fix those two, your body is going to be in alignment. But you can't fix it if you don't know what you don't know. And what are the things that people don't know? Women don't know how to power up. They don't know how to use their intuitive power. They don't know how to understand. I have limiting beliefs from my childhood. I'm triggered all the time. I'm operating on triggers. I'm really not my empowered self. I'm this little girl that's running a show of a 56-year-old. Women don't know that, right? You are disempowered because you are not fueled spiritually. You're not giving yourself spiritual food. You're not giving yourself good food physiologically. Then you're completely misaligned. You don't know what your passions are. So you become self-sacrificing. If you knew what your path was, you would say no more often than you said yes. Because every time you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. Right? And then when you are not aligned with that, you cannot in any shape, way, or fashion get to your purpose. And your purpose is where you are completely fulfilled, 50 and above. That is the timeline that needs to be explored in every woman's life. As soon as she starts saying, oh my God, what am I going to do with myself? The kids are gone, but they keep draining me, and I don't like that. You know, I gotta be, and everybody's pulling at me, and you want to go shut yourself in a closet. So what I've done is I've created an online coaching program where you can actually go and do a course by yourself. And guess what? Every Thursday, we have an accountability session where we get together, we do Q&A, and I expound on the learning. Or there's an opportunity, a lot of clients say, you know what, I just want you to myself. Can you do one-on-one coaching? And I do that for a very select group of people who are serious about their development. Otherwise, if you're not as serious as me, I can't work with you. But I can put you in the course and you will learn so much there. So there's courses, there's online coaching opportunity. I can also support you physically so you can understand how to take care of yourself naturally, because everybody's in this natural thing, but they're not doing it correctly. You're not doing it correctly. And if you're not getting a hair tissue analysis to understand your biochemistry, you have no idea what a good diet is for you. If you don't. Because
you better preach that thing.
Toxicity. You don't know if you have a mineral imbalance. You don't know. You just don't know. So you're guessing. And you go, well, my diet is good. And I'm like, okay, well, how good is it? Well, I'm taking less medication, and I'm saying, well, if you're doing any of that, then your diet is not where it needs to be, right? So there's this continuous theme of you don't know what you don't know, and so I give you pockets of insight on those spirit, mind, and body aspects to put it all together so you can be an integrated woman as opposed to compartmentalized and nothing's working, right? What is that saying? You can be so earthly minded, you're so heavenly minded, you're not earthly good. Remember that statement? Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you, I know you are dropping nuggets. You know why I know you're dropping nuggets? Whenever we have technical difficulties, you know we going in. And we're giving the people what they really need to hear. So I'm praying that those people who are viewing are really listening and understanding, one, what you're sharing about unclocking, the unclocking movement, the unclocking program, the unclocking coaching, But then we want to address too, before we go, we talked a little bit about why it's important for folks to go and go away and get into a separate place so that they can feed themselves with coaching programs such as yours, how we're going to be partnering up and doing some coaching abroad. And so we talked about that. We talked about being prepared and knowing exactly what it is that you need before you even go, so that you can fully benefit from the experience. But let's talk before we close out. As we close out, let's talk about, what do you do afterwards? So now they've gone to a retreat, they've gotten the information, they've had some coaching sessions, they're doing some DIY, do it yourself, online under your coaching program. Talk to them about, being conscious of your commitment. LuLu shared with, as we closed out, she left the group that came here, the Own It family that came here. She left them with this charge to take action: is be committed. As you're talking about your program, Unclocking and the Unclocking movement, link that with commitment to what you do when you take what you've learned here, and you gotta get to home plate with it, right? You gotta get to home plate. You gotta get to the point of achievement. And as we are focusing on this month, results.
Yeah. In order to get results, in order to stay committed, in order to be changed by what you've learned, you have to repeat and revisit your new information. If you don't revisit and repeat what you've learned, it's just going to be something, oh, that was good, that was cute, and it's over. So you miss an opportunity to really be transformed in a new environment, which is the reason why you went, is to get something beyond what you already know so you can add on to the person that you want to become. Mm-hmm. You have to practice it, make it actionable. Within my course, there are taskings, and clients have to do a task, and the task might last for the duration of the program to continuously unfold the new knowledge. And then the more you learn it, the more you can automatically use it in your everyday life without it being something that's inorganic. So I give an example of how that works. Remember when we were kids and we were learning vocabulary words, and the teacher would say, if you learn the vocabulary words just effortlessly, it'll come out in your general speaking. And that's exactly what happened. But we did repetition.
Yes.
We studied the word. We understood what the word meant, and then before you know it, it was like I said, unfathomable in a sentence.
Right.
How does that happen? Right. Because it's repetition. When you want to be better at something, you have to repeat the action. Because when you're repeating a good action, you are stamping out the imprint of the inactivity that is being replaced. That's the only way you're going to do it. So when you leave an experience or a conference, stay committed, but committed to taking action with what you learn and practice it so it becomes a part of you. Otherwise, you just waste your money, you wasted your time, and then you become a complainer. Well, that didn't work. Well, what work are you doing?
Right.
Are you engaging in the process? Are you taking responsibility for the new knowledge? Or are you staying stuck in your ways because it's worked for you up until now? Well, you're not going to get any further than where you are today if you're not going to add anything new.
No.
Repetition, commitment, repeat it. Make it actionable, live with it, and let it just flow. Because after that, it's a flow. It's a flow after that.
As LuLu says, ease and flow.
Yeah.
Ease and flow. You have to put it into real life application. So you have to take what you've learned and start applying it in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's your career, your job, your business, you got to put it into application. That's how it becomes natural to you. The more that you practice it, the more that you put it into application, the more proficient you become, and it becomes natural to you. When we learned vocabulary, we had to say the word, we had to say it in a sentence, and we also had to define how we were using the word. And if it had multiple definitions, then we had to address all of those definitions. So that's how we learned. That's how we say learning is transferred, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. And
So,
it doesn't have to be perfect, right?
no,
It take imperfect action. Take imperfect action. You could always recalibrate. Because I
that's
hear that all the time. I don't know. I don't understand. Try it, mess up, and then recalibrate.
that's
That's it.
what you do when you learn how to ride a bike, right? You're all wobbly and and it doesn't matter. Like I think that sometimes when you're on a job for so many years, you forget how you learned the job. And
Yeah.
with new information, it's just like learning a new aspect of your job. Um, but once you've learned it and you start applying it, it becomes easier and easier. And then it goes back into, it becomes natural and normal.
Yeah.
So Dr. Reed, we know that you're going to be back again and again and again. But share with the audience how they can connect with you. How can they take advantage of your programs, your offerings? And before you do that, I just want to say something. She said something that was very, very significant. Is you have to be serious. We can show up and pour into you, but you have got to be serious about your business. No one's gonna, we'll love you for a minute, but we know how to assess where you're going to go, and we're assessing you quicker and quicker because we have our own goals. Even as coaches, we want to pour in, but we want to be poured into as well, and we have our own goals, we have our own desires, and we're
Mhm.
not going to block them if you're not going to show up. So make sure you show up for yourself. So Dr. Reed, if you would share with the audience how they can connect with you, ways that they can glean over your site and look at all the goodies that you have to offer them, and so that they can start getting this thing right. Because identity, I had said that, oh my God, back in early 2000s and maybe even before then, that your
Mhm.
identity is critical. If you don't know who you are, if you don't know what makes you tick and what ticks you off, you're in trouble. And so go ahead, Dr. Reed.
Well, the easiest way to find me is to just go to my website, drstephanieyhp.com. And when you go there, just click on that link that says book a free strategy session, because I'm a one-on-one, hands-on, let me touch and feel your energy. That's the difference between a coach and a coach, right?
Go ahead, girl.
A coach is approachable and accessible because it's my job and my passion to move you on a trajectory of where you say you want to go. That's my charge. So I'm passionate about it. So you will have access to me one-on-one. We will have this wonderful conversation for 1 hour for free, just to get you on an even playing field. After that, it's up to you what you decide you want to do. So you can find me on drstephanieyhp.com. If that's too much for you, just Google your healing place and I'll pop up.
Yep.
From there, just go ahead and book a strategy session and let's see what happens. Because guess what? You don't know what you don't know. But one thing you do know is you're not feeling your best and you're not living your best life and you are unfulfilled. You are silently suffering and you don't know how to get out of that. Well, I got an answer for you. It's called unclocking your creative purpose. Yeah.
Well, she said it. I can't say it any better. You want to own it? You better get with Dr. Reed. And then after you talk to Dr. Reed, then come back with me and I'll help you build your business. If you want to do something with your career, I got some folks that will help you with your career. We love you.
Yes, we do.
Really, really love you. And we really want the best for your life. And we want you to start pouring into you in a strategic and an intentional way. That's why we take time out of our day to do these free lives, right? These are free
Yeah.
lives to kind of trigger something to go off in your mind that says, I want more, I need more, and how can I get it? And so here we are. We love you so very much. Well, this has been TCS Consulting, all things leadership and organizational development. And we've been speaking to women, moms, who have been not taking care of themselves, that have really put themselves on the back burner. And we do that. We don't do that. We don't do our children justice. We don't do our households justice. We want to show up, and we want to thrive, not just strive to be all that we were meant to be. And so keep it here. We're going to be talking about motherhood, women, influence, impact, and results all month long. We love you, and we'll till next time. And listen, finish your week strong. Take center stage and own it. TCS Consulting, we are out.